But with bicycles, the way has been rather tortuous, as these pictures of the old hobby horse for the use of ladies, one, and the other models shown by courtesy of the Science Museum will suggest. There were no traffic signals in those rollicking days. The handlebar was carried in an iron fork, and the wooden wheels were propelled by treadles and cranks fitted to one of the axles. In 1860 came the velocipede, and this one, if you please, is a light racer, made of wood with a metal crankshaft. Its front driving and rear steering. 7 years later saw the bone shaker. The brake is operated by rotating the handlebar, and there are pedals fitted to the front wheel. The devils flung themselves headlong into the saddle and dashed off at almost 8 miles an hour. This is the extraordinary of 1878, with ball bearings fitted to hubs and pedals rubber studded. The machine is front wheel driven and safer to ride. The first rear chain driven safety made its appearance in 1879. This tricycle was born in the same year. It had 2 small wheels in front and a large rear wheel, and it was steered by hand grips. 2 years later came the bicycle, with 2 large road wheels on an axle which supported the saddle and entire frame. It was steered by means of spade grip handles, which also contained a brake. In 1885 we saw this safety, with solid rubber tires and a saddle like a shoulder of mutton. So we've progressed, from the old hobby horsey period to the present shorts and sports days. From the tandem and bloomers, I'll bet he talked behind her back, the rascal, to the carefree any old thing of modern youth. Cheerio, old fruits!
The cycle and motorcycle show. They even make them to take apart and fold up. A racing model provides for every gradient merely by having a 10-speed gear. Wonder how many young chaps will leave the exhibition praying that somebody will give them one.
Not one of your up-to-date 3-speed models, but a real penny halfpenny, at least a century old.
Here is the general weather forecast for the next 24 hours. A deep depression centered near Iceland is slowly approaching the west coast of Scotland. Continuous rain will move south.
Designed in the shape of a headlamp, the cycle radio slips into a small bracket mounted on the handlebars. It is powered by a 67-volt battery, which packs neatly into a leather case strapped to the crossbar. And the whole lot can stand the weather better than Marilyn herself. A retractable aerial and a 3-inch loudspeaker complete the 4-valve set and provide the cyclist, motorcyclist or scooter rider with a better reception than many big sets give. About the only thing you can't do is tap your feet in time to the music.
You might think they've got hiccups, but it's really a clever display of cycle steeplechasing. That's the new bicycle built for 2. The 2 on the ground.
Pressure trouble. Lucky it's not a puncture, but the tyre still needs a spot of inflation. And here's the automatic pump. It inflates the tyre while you ride. Clamped to spokes, it can inflate a dead tyre to full pressure in 200 yards. Hey-ho for the open road. Happy cycling until the chain comes off. Graham Wallace of Thames Ditton decided that a dog's life just wasn't good enough and designed this sidecar to show them the great big world.
This is the new look in bicycles. Fit for boys and girls and grandpas. One adaptable model to fit the long and the short and the tall alike with built-in twist grip gear change. The bike remained almost unmodified for half a century, but hey presto, just see how suddenly the whole cycling picture has been transformed. Makers believe they're unfolding the story of the push bike that is going up in the social world. No spanners needed to turn a toddler's fairy cycle into something for the 6-footer. Commuters will park their cars at the local station and take their collapsible bikes up to town, along with their bowlers and brollies, if the idea catches on.
Gluttons of another kind. Gluttons for punishment, in fact, are the younger generation. So now let's watch members of the Queen Mary Boys Club from South London preparing for, well, for a clue, look at those peculiar handlebars. The ball, incidentally, is made from bamboo root, weighs 4 ounces, and when properly hit, travels at 60 miles an hour. Opposition on this occasion is provided by a local YMCA team, so now let's take a quick look at a sport that's too complicated to explain at one go, but will at least intrigue you, and perhaps make you take it up yourselves. Who knows? On second thoughts, perhaps we should leave it to the youngsters. At least in ordinary polo, you've got reins to control your pony. But in this game, brakes are unheard of. You just sit tight and hope for the best. However, there's always a first aid man standing by for running repairs.
You'll notice that for this school of painting, one needs a bicycle, preferably one with flat tires. However, don't be discouraged if you can't afford a bike or can't borrow one. A similar effect can be got with, say, a pair of roller skates. Don't, and we repeat, don't go in for anything as heavy as a car.